Picture this. You are calm. You are reasonable. You are even proud of your self-control. Then one sentence lands the wrong way. Your chest tightens. Your mind speeds up. Your voice changes. And suddenly you are not the person you wanted to be. Later, when the wave is gone, you replay it like a movie. Why did I say that? Why did I assume the worst? Why did I forget everything I wanted to say? Why did I act like I was fighting for my life? This episode is for that exact gap. The gap between who you are when you are calm and who you become when emotions are strong. Today we will make it simple. We will explain what strong emotion does to your brain and body. Why logic gets quieter. Why you become certain and urgent. Why you misread tone and intention. Why you either attack, run, freeze, or people please. Then we will build a set of tools that actually work in real life. Tools that help you lower the intensity without suppressing your feelings. Tools that help you speak with clarity instead of regret. Tools that help you choose behavior that matches your values. As you listen, pick one situation that keeps repeating for you. A relationship conflict. A family conversation. A work feedback moment. A text that felt cold. A mistake that triggered shame. We will return to that situation again and again. So you leave this episode with a plan, not just information. You do not need to turn off emotions to be wise. You need to understand the gear shift. Because in the heat, your brain is trying to protect you. Even when protection looks messy. So this is not a video about blaming yourself. It is a video about getting accurate. And accuracy is relieving. When you know what is happening, you stop taking the wave personally. You stop making it mean you are broken. You start saying, my system is activated, so I need a tool, not a lecture. One small reminder before we start. This is education, not therapy. If your emotions feel overwhelming for long periods, or you feel unsafe, reaching out to a professional can be life-changing. Support is not a weakness, it is a skill. Now, take a slow breath. Not to force calm. Just to make a little space. That space is where logic lives. Have you ever noticed that logic works great when you are calm, but collapses when you are upset? That is not random. It is a state change. Here is the easiest way to understand it. When you are calm, your brain acts like a courtroom. It gathers evidence. It listens. It compares options. It can say, maybe I am wrong. It can tolerate waiting. When you are emotionally activated, your brain acts like a battlefield. It scans for danger. It picks a side. It prepares an attack or an escape. It says, act now. Win now. Protect now. And the wild part is this. Battlefield mode feels like truth. It feels obvious. It feels urgent. It feels certain. So you might say, I am being logical. But what you mean is, my brain is defending safety. In courtroom mode, logic is curious. In battlefield mode, logic is protective. It becomes a shield, not a searchlight. That is why debates and strong emotion rarely lead to understanding. They lead to escalation. Because two protective brains cannot do gentle listening. They do not want to understand, they want to survive. So the goal is not to become more logical inside the storm. The goal is to step out of the storm enough that real logic can return. First state, then conversation. First safety, then problem solving. Think about the last time you argued with someone and later both of you said, that is not what I meant. Why did we make it so big? That is battlefield mode. Battlefield mode loves black and white. Right or wrong. Good or bad. Safe or unsafe. Courtroom mode can hold gray. It can hold. I feel hurt and I still care about you. I disagree and I still respect you. I am scared and I can still wait. So when emotions are strong, you are not only less logical. You are less flexible. That is why the same person can look emotionally intelligent one day, and then look totally different the next day. It is not identity, it is state. And the good news is, state can change. You can learn how to shift it. Not instantly, not perfectly, but enough to keep yourself out of regret. So every tool in this episode has one purpose. to move you from battlefield back to courtroom. Even one step. Here is how you can spot the mode in real time. Courtroom mode has slower speech, longer pauses, more questions. You feel able to hear the other person. Battlefield mode has fast speech, tighter face, more certainty, less listening. You feel a need to finish the argument. If you notice you are speeding up, that is a signal, not a shame. It means your nervous system is taking over. So you do not push harder, you slow down. You can say, I want to do this well. I feel myself getting activated. Let me take a minute. That sentence alone can stop escalation, because it gives your brain time to switch gears. Imagine you get a short reply from someone you love. Just 2 words. Okay, sure. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts building a case. The tone, the timing, the punctuation, the last conversation. Everything becomes proof. This is what emotional logic looks like. It is not neutral. It is trying to protect connection. In strong emotion, your brain becomes a lawyer, not a scientist. A scientist asks, what is true? What else could explain this? What data am I missing? A lawyer asks, how do I win? How do I defend my fear? How do I prove my story is right? So you stop asking curious questions and you start delivering arguments. And the other person feels attacked. Then their nervous system activates. Now you have 2 lawyers yelling and no one is listening. This is why a simple message can create a huge fight. Not because the message is huge. Because your nervous system is reading threat and IT. So if you want to keep logic online, you need one skill more than any other. The skill is pausing before interpretation. Instead of deciding instantly, you say, my body just reacted. That means my brain is biased right now. I will regulate, then I will ask for clarity. That one pause can save a relationship, because it moves you from lawyer to scientist. Here is a simple experiment you can run in your own life. When you get a message that triggers you, do not reply for 10 minutes. Instead, write down 3 possible meanings. Option 1, worst case. They are mad, they do not care, I am rejected. Option 2, neutral. They are busy, they are tired, they answered quickly. Option 3, best case. They trust me, they assume I understand, they will explain later. Notice how your body responds to each option. Often the worst option spikes the body. The neutral option softens it. That is your clue. Your body is responding to story, not only to facts. So logic fails partly because story becomes automatic. The story arrives before you choose it. Regulation gives you back choice over story. Not by pretending everything is fine. By holding multiple possibilities until you get data. And data is what the scientist wants. So, instead of a speech, you ask one curious question. What did you mean by that? Can you tell me what is going on? I might be reading this wrong, can you clarify? Curiosity is a sign of safety. If you can be curious, your logic is returning. Here is what is happening inside your brain in simple terms. You have a fast alarm system. It watches for threat. It is quick. It is loud. It cares about survival. You also have a slower planning system. It can hold perspective. It can imagine tomorrow. It can delay impulses. It can choose a long-term outcome over a short-term win. When your brain senses threat, it sends signals into your body. Stress hormones increase. Breathing becomes shorter. Muscles tighten. Heart rate rises. Blood flow shifts toward action. Attention narrows. All of that is useful if a car is coming at you. But in a conversation, it creates a problem. Because your planning system needs calm space. It needs oxygen. It needs time. When your body is in threat, the planning system gets less power. Not broken, just less available. Like trying to use your phone on 1% battery. That is why you might know the right words, but cannot access them. You might know the problem is small, but it feels huge. You might know you love the person, but you cannot feel it in that moment. So instead of asking, why am I irrational? Ask, what state am I in? State shapes perception. Perception shapes choices. And choices shape your outcomes. You can think of your nervous system like a smoke detector. It is designed to be sensitive, because missing danger is costly. But smoke detectors also go off from burnt toast. Not because they are stupid, because they are protective. Your brain is similar. It would rather warn you too often than not warn you once. So when you feel a huge reaction to a small thing, it might be burnt toast. Your nervous system heard something familiar from the past. A tone that used to mean danger. A silence that used to mean rejection. A look that used to mean punishment. That is why triggers feel bigger than the moment. They carry history. And when history is active, the body responds like it is now. So regulation is partly teaching your brain a new update. This is now, not then. That is why orienting and grounding work so well. They tell the brain, look, this room is safe, this moment is different. You do not have to fight the past and the present. Another helpful image is a steering wheel. In calm state, your steering wheel is easy to turn. In high emotion, the wheel feels locked. So do not try to turn the wheel while it is locked. Unlock it first with regulation. Even one long exhale is like loosening the wheel. Then you can choose direction again. That is why we keep coming back to state. State is the steering wheel. Have you ever been triggered and suddenly forgot everything you wanted to say? That is working memory shrinking under stress. Working memory is the mental table where you place information. What they just said. What you meant. What you want next. What the big picture is. Under threat, the table becomes tiny. The brain spends resources on scanning and reacting. So you lose room for nuance. This is why you repeat the same sentence. Or you go blank. Or you suddenly remember 10 old examples. Because your mind is grabbing the fastest weapons it can reach. It is also why you cannot access compassion. Compassion takes space. It takes breath. It takes time. So, in a heated moment, do not demand perfect communication from yourself. Use a simple rule. If my intensity is high, I do not explain. I pause. Try rating your intensity from 1 to 10. 1 to 4, you can talk and think. 5 to 7, you go slow and keep words short. 8 to 10, you do not debate, you regulate only. This is not avoidance. It is strategy. You are choosing to communicate when your brain can actually communicate. You can also see working memory shrink in everyday tasks. When you are stressed, you forget why you walked into the room. You lose your keys. You reread the same sentence. You cannot focus. You make tiny mistakes that make you more annoyed. Then you blame yourself. But this is the brain under load. So, if you are about to have a hard conversation, help your working memory. Do not rely on perfect recall. Try this. Before the talk, write 3 bullet points. What happened? What I feel. What I need. Keep it simple. Then during the talk, if you get activated, return to the bullets. Say. It keeps you anchored. It keeps you from going into old examples and old wounds. Also, if you tend to go blank, practice a pause sentence. Give me a moment. I want to answer carefully. Let me think. That pause sentence protects your nervous system. Because it gives you time without shame. Time is what your planning brain needs. If you want an easy anchor during hard talks, keep your language small. 1 sentence at a time. Then breathe. Long speeches overwhelm both nervous systems. They create more threat. Short sentences create room. You can even ask for structure. Can we do 1 topic at a time? Can we stay on the present issue? Can we take turns, 1 minute each? Structure is not controlling the other person. Structure is protecting the nervous system so logic can stay online. Here is the trap that keeps people stuck. Trying to think your way out while your body is still in threat. It sounds like, why am I like this? What is wrong with me? I should not feel this. I need to calm down right now. Those thoughts feel logical. But they add pressure. And pressure is a threat signal. So the body tightens more. The mind gets louder. The emotion feels stronger. Regulation starts by removing the fight. You do not need to approve of the emotion. You simply stop arguing with reality for a moment. Try this sentence. This is a wave. My body is activated. I can take one step. Notice the difference between leadership and violence. Violence sounds like, stop it. Get over it. Do not be dramatic. Your nervous system learns from your inner tone. A harsh inner tone is like living with an angry roommate in your head. Of course, your body stays on guard. So one of the fastest ways to bring logic back is to change your inner voice. Not to be fake, to be steady. Steady voice, steady breath, steady choices. There is a concept called the second hit. The first hit is the emotion. The second hit is what you do to yourself about the emotion. First hit, I feel anxious. Second hit, I should not feel anxious, I am weak. First hit, I feel angry. Second hit, I am a bad person for feeling angry. The second hit is often the one that makes you spiral. Because it adds shame. And shame is threat. So regulation is removing the second hit. You can still have the emotion, but you stop punishing yourself for it. Try a replacement. Instead of, I should not feel this, say, this makes sense, and I can choose my next step. That one sentence creates space. And space allows logic to breathe. Your goal is not to become emotionless. Your goal is to become non-violent toward yourself. Because inner safety is what allows outer wisdom. If you want to calm your system quickly, try naming what is happening. Name the emotion. Name the sensation. Name the urge. Example. I feel anxious. My chest is tight. I want to text immediately. Naming reduces chaos. Chaos increases threat. So naming is a tiny way to bring order. Order is a safety cue. Then add one action. One long exhale. One glass of water. One step away from the phone. Small actions are powerful when repeated. When emotions are strong, the brain searches for control. Because control feels like safety. If you can win, you feel safe. If you can prove your point, you feel safe. If you can make the other person wrong, you feel safe. If you can make the other person chase you, you feel safe. If you can avoid the whole situation, you feel safe. So you might use tactics without even noticing. Interrupting. Raising volume. Bringing up the past. Sarcasm. Threats. Testing love. Silent treatment. Over-explaining. People-pleasing. These are not logic. They are survival strategies. They can create short relief. But they damage trust. And damaged trust increases threat next time. So the cycle becomes stronger. This is why strong emotion can make smart people act in ways that sabotage their goals. The goal becomes, reduce discomfort now. Not, build a good future. Regulation breaks the cycle by choosing safety without damage. It asks, how can I protect myself and protect the relationship at the same time? Sometimes the answer is a pause. Sometimes a boundary. Sometimes fewer words with slower tone. Sometimes stepping away from the phone. The key is, stop trying to win inside the alarm. If you want to see your survival style, notice what you do in conflict. Fight, you get sharper, louder, more certain. Flight, you want to leave, avoid, change the subject, scroll. Freeze, you go blank, quiet, numb, stuck. Fawn, you apologize, agree, smooth things over, even when you feel hurt. None of these are moral failures. They are nervous system strategies. But they can look like logic problems. Because they create behaviors that contradict your values. So ask it. When my system is activated, what is my default? Then plan for it. If you fight, plan a pause rule. If you flee, plan a return time. If you freeze, plan a gentle prompt, like, ask me one question at a time. If you fawn, plan a boundary phrase, like, I need time to think. Planning reduces surprise. Surprise fuels threat. Predictability is a safety cue. So the more you plan, the more logic stays online. Because your body is less shocked. A common pattern in conflict is the control spiral. You feel unsafe, so you try to control. The other person feels controlled, so they pull away. You feel the pull away as danger, so you control more. This spiral looks like More questions. More checking. More demands. More accusations. More withdrawal. The exit is always the same. Reduce threat, then ask for clarity. Instead of controlling, you say, I am feeling insecure. I need reassurance or clarity. Can we talk later today? That is regulation. It names the need without turning it into force. Here is a simple skill that changes everything. Delay. When you feel the urge to send the message right now, delay. When you feel the urge to accuse right now, delay. When you feel the urge to quit or explode right now, delay is not weakness. Delay is respect for your brain. Because you are saying, I will decide with my wise mind, not my alarm mind. Try a 2-minute protocol. Set a timer. For 2 minutes you only do body care. Long exhale. Relax jaw. Open hands, see. Feel your feet. Look around and name 3 objects. Drink water if you can. Then check your intensity. If it dropped by 1 point, repeat. This teaches your nervous system a new belief. Intensity can move. And when your brain believes intensity can move, it panics less. You can also use the write now, send later rule. Write the message in notes. Do not send. Regulate. Then read it later. Most people edit it down when calm. Cleaner, kinda, more accurate. Delay gives you choice. And choice is the heart of regulation. Delay also works for anger and shame. Because those emotions create impulses. Impulse to punish. Impulse to defend. Impulse to prove. Impulse to disappear. So, if you feel impulse, treat it like a wave too. Urge surfing is the skill of watching an urge rise and fall without obeying it. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Do not act. Breathe long. Walk if you can. Shake out your hands. Sip water. Let the urge do its thing. Then ask, do I still want this action when I am calmer? Often you still want to communicate, but you do it cleaner. Less blame, more clarity. And if you cannot delay in the moment, delay the delivery. Write the words, but do not send. Save them. Return later. This is not censorship. It is timing. Timing is regulation. For very big decisions, add a longer delay rule. If I feel intense, I wait 1 night. Sleep resets the nervous system. A problem that feels catastrophic at midnight often feels different in the morning. Not because the problem changed, but because your state changed. So if you're about to send the breakup text, quit the job, or cut someone off. Pause. Regulate. Sleep. Then decide. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Here is a small story that shows how delay saves you. You feel rejected. You type a message that starts with, fine, do whatever you want. Your thumb is hovering over send. Delay gives you a different ending. You put the phone down. You exhale long. You walk to the kitchen. You drink water. You come back 10 minutes later and the message looks different. You notice it was written from fear, not from truth. Then you rewrite it as a clean question. Hey, I felt a little off reading that. Are you okay? Same feeling, different behavior, different future. That is why delay is powerful. It turns a reflex into a choice. Have you ever been in a fight where you knew you were misunderstanding the other person, but you could not stop? That is because strong emotion changes how you read signals. In activation, your brain becomes threat-focused. So neutral faces look negative. Silence looks like rejection. A pause looks like judgment. A short reply looks like abandonment. This is state-dependent perception. The state creates the lens. That is why the same message feels fine on a calm day, but feels like an attack on a stressed day. So in high emotion, question your first interpretation. Not because you should doubt yourself always. Because your nervous system is biased toward danger in that moment. Ask 3 questions. What are the facts? What is the most likely explanation? What is a middle explanation? Then ask for clarity instead of making a verdict. Hey, your message felt short. Are we okay? Hey, I might be reading this wrong. What did you mean? Hey, I feel activated. Can you clarifying? Those sentences keep logic alive, because they invite data. Data reduces fear. Fear is what makes your brain fill in blanks with worst-case stories. Here's another reason misreading happens. Your brain is trying to fill in missing information. Texts, emails, short replies, they contain gaps. No facial expression. No tone. No context. When you are calm, you fill gaps gently. When you are activated, you fill gaps with threat. So the rule becomes, if I am activated, I do not interpret gaps. I ask questions, or I wait. Waiting feels hard because your brain wants certainty. But waiting is often the most logical choice. Try a practical rule. No long texts while activated. No accusations by message. If something feels big, talk in voice, or in person after a pause, because hearing a voice can reduce projection. It gives your nervous system real data. And real data calms threat, imagination. Here's a quick reminder. Feeling certain is not the same as being correct. Strong emotion creates certainty. Because certainty reduces fear. So when you notice intense certainty, use it as a cue to slow down. I feel very sure right now, that might mean I am activated. Let me check the facts first. This is how you protect yourself from the confidence of the alarm brain. Here's how to do a pause in a relationship without making it worse. A good pause has 3 parts. Name the state. Name the need. Name the return. It sounds like, I'm getting overwhelmed. I need a pause. I will come back in 20 minutes. That last part matters. Because many nervous systems have abandonment alarms. A pause without a return feels like rejection. So you make the pause predictable. Then when you return, use a structure that keeps you inside your window. 1 fact. 1 feeling. 1 request. Example. When the plan changed last minute, I felt anxious and disappointed. I need earlier notice next time. Short, clear, no speech. If you want an even simpler structure, use this. I feel 1 emotion word. I need 1 need word. I propose 1 next step. I feel stressed. I need clarity. I propose we decide tomorrow. This is regulation. It creates safety and direction at the same time. During the pause, do not rehearse arguments. That is common. You walk away and your mind writes a speech. Instead, use the pause to regulate your body. Because if you return with the same activation, the conversation restarts the storm. Try a pause routine. Step away from screens. Long exhales, 5 times. Shake out arms for 20 seconds. Look around, and name 5 objects. Then do 1 simple task, like wash hands or drink water. These actions signal endings. They tell the nervous system, the threat cycle is closing. Then when you return, lead with softness. Not weakness, softness. Soft tone is a safety cue. You can say, I want us to understand each other. I do not want to fight. Here's what I felt. Here's what I need. That opening changes the whole direction. Because it tells the other nervous system, we are not at war. If the other person refuses a pause, repeat calmly. I hear you. I still need a pause. I will return at this time. Then follow through. Following through teaches your nervous system that you can protect yourself. It also teaches the relationship a new pattern. We can pause without abandonment. We can return without punishment. If you want, you can send a short message during the pause. I am regulating so I do not say something I regret. I care about us. I will be back at 6. That message is co-regulation. It reduces fear for both people. Now let's talk about the emotion that makes logic collapse fast. Shame. Shame feels like identity threat. Not, I did something wrong. But, I am wrong. When shame hits, your brain searches for escape. Explain. Hide in. Fix. Perform attack. Blame. Disappear. So logic becomes a servant to shame. It builds extreme stories. I always ruin everything. I am hopeless. They will leave. Or it builds defensive speeches. I was tired. You pushed me. It is not my fault. Both are threat responses. Regulation with shame starts with one sentence. This is shame, not truth. Then one body cue. Hand on chest. Long exhale. Relax shoulders. Then one repair question. Is there something I need to repair? If yes, repair simply. I am sorry for my tone. I want to try again. Here is what I meant. If no repair is needed, do self-repair. I am human. I can learn. My worth is not on trial. Shame softens when you combine accountability with kindness. Not hiding, not cruelty, balance. It helps to separate guilt from shame. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am something wrong. Guilt can guide repair. Shame tries to erase you. So when shame hits, ask, is there a repair I can do? If yes, do the repair and let guilt finish its job. If no, then shame is just an old alarm. And you treat it like an alarm, not like a verdict. A simple shame interrupt is posture. Shame often collapses the body. Head down, shoulders forward. So gently open. Lift chest slightly. Drop shoulders. Long exhale. You are sending your nervous system a new message. I can stay present. I do not have to disappear. Then choose one kind action. One meal. One shower. One message to a safe person. Kind actions are not rewards, they are safety signals. And safety signals help logic return. Here is a common shame scene. You make a mistake. Someone looks disappointed. Your mind goes blank. Then your body floods with heat. And suddenly you either over-explain or shut down. In that moment, shame is trying to protect you from rejection. So treat it like a scared part. Not like a judge. You can say internally, of course you are scared. We can handle this. We will repair what we can. That inner support keeps you from collapsing. And when you do not collapse, you can actually fix the real issue. Anger is another moment where logic fails. Because anger energizes fight. In anger, your brain wants to win. And winning feels urgent. But anger is often protecting something softer. Hurt, fear, disappointment, feeling ignored, feeling disrespected. So, if you want logic to return in anger, look for the softer layer. Not because anger is wrong. Because the softer layer reveals the real need. Try a quick translation. Anger says, boundary. Hurt says, value. Fear says, threat. Need says, request. So ask, what boundary is being crossed? What do I need right now? Then choose clean anger. Clean anger is direct and calm. I do not accept that. Please stop. I need space. We will continue later. Dirty anger punishes. Sarcasm. Threats. Silent treatment. Keeping score. Dirty anger increases threat. So the next conversation becomes less logical. Clean anger creates safety. Safety makes reasoning possible. After anger, complete the stress cycle with movement. A walk. Shaking out the hands. Stretching right. Because the body needs an ending. If you grew up around explosive anger, your body might fear anger itself. So you either suppress it, or you explode like what you learned. Clean anger is a skill you can practice privately. Say one boundary sentence out loud, steady tone. Stop. Do not talk to me like that. I need space. I will decide later. Then breathe long and notice your body. Often the chest opens. Because clarity is safety. Anger also needs completion. Not by punching walls, but by moving the body. Walk. Stretch. Shake. Even cleaning can help if it is not avoidance. Movement tells the nervous system, the action cycle has an ending. And after anger, ask one question. What value is this protecting? Respect, fairness, honesty, safety. Values lead to better requests. Requests lead to better outcomes. That is logic returning through the body. If your anger rises fast, try a cooling step before words. Slow exhale. Sip water. Lower shoulders. Unclench hands. Then speak with fewer words. Anger makes you want to explain everything. But fewer words often create more power. Because they are clear. Clear is calming. And if you cannot speak calmly, choose the pause. Pausing is not losing. Pausing is choosing not to burn the bridge while you cross it. Anxiety has its own logic failure. Catastrophic thinking. When anxious, your brain treats possibility like certainty. It says, if this happens, it will be terrible. And it will happen. And I will not survive it. That is the threat brain doing its job. Regulation with anxiety is not forcing positive thoughts. It is reducing threat signals, then choosing a realistic story. Try this 3-step loop. Body first. Long exhale and grounding. Facts next. What do I actually know? Action last. What is one small step I can take? There is no action. The step is waiting with skill. Waiting is a skill because anxiety hates waiting. Anxiety says, solve now. Regulation says, we can wait and still be safe. Practice safe waiting. Delay the check. Delay the reassurance. Delay the impulse. Every time you wait and nothing collapses, your nervous system learns. Uncertainty is not emergency. And logic gets louder again. Anxiety also has something called safety behaviors. These are behaviors that reduce anxiety short term, but increase it long term. Checking messages repeatedly. Asking for reassurance again and again. Avoiding situations. Replaying conversations. Researching endlessly. They work for a minute. Then the brain learns, danger is real, keep doing that. Regulation breaks the loop by reducing threat first, then choosing one clean action, then stopping the safety behavior. Example. Instead of checking 10 times, check once at a planned time. Then return to life. Instead of asking for reassurance 5 times, ask once clearly. Then practice waiting. Waiting is training. And if anxiety is about performance, like tests or interviews, add recovery. After the challenge, walk, breathe, eat, rest. Recovery teaches your nervous system the ending. Endings reduce fear. If your anxiety is social, like overthinking what people think of you, use a grounding truth. I cannot read minds. I can ask. I can observe. I can wait. Then choose one behavior that supports your value. Maybe your value is respect, so you speak kindly. Maybe your value is growth, so you show up anyway. Maybe your value is peace, so you stop rehearsing and return to the present. Anxiety will offer you 1,000 futures. Regulation brings you back to one present. Here is the most practical truth you can learn. You cannot outthink an activated body. But you can outbreathe it. Your breath is one of the few levers you can pull on purpose. It sends signals to the nervous system. A long exhale is a break. It tells the body, safe enough. Try this now. Inhale gently. Then exhale longer than the inhale. Do that 5 times. Then add 2 more breaks. Relax your jaw. Open your hands. Lower your shoulders. Those are safety cues. A clenched jaw tells the brain, danger. Open hands tell the brain not fighting. Shoulders down tell the brain, not bracing. Add one more tool, orienting. Look around the room slowly. Let your eyes land on neutral object. Name them quietly. This is a chair. This is a window. This is my room. Orientation tells the brain I am here, not back there. That is why it reduces trigger power. These tools are simple, but they work because they change state. And state is what logic depends on. If breath feels hard, use a different door into the body. Try temperature. Cool water on wrist. Hold something cool. Step outside and feel the air. Temperature is immediate, it pulls you into now. Try sound. Hum on the exhale. Low humming can feel soothing. Because voice is a safety signal. Even your own voice. Try touch. Press your thumb gently into your palm. Feel the chair under you. Feel your feet in your shoes. Try movement. Slow walking with wide gaze. Wide gaze tells the brain, I am not trapped. Trapped is what fuels panic. The point is not to do a perfect technique. The point is to change state by 1%. 1% is enough to create a pause. Pause is enough to choose better behavior. One more tool is reducing stimulation. When you are activated, your brain cannot process extra input well. So lower the volume of life for a moment. Dim the screen. Step away from notifications. Sit in a quieter space. Even 2 minutes can help. Overstimulation keeps the alarm on. Lower stimulation lets the alarm step down. Then, logic returns. This is why taking space is not avoidance. It is state management. If you like a clear grounding script, try 5, 4, 3. Name 5 things you see. 4 things you feel, like fabric, air, chair. 3 things you hear. 2 things you smell. 1 thing you taste. This pulls attention out of the fight story and into the present. Present is where safety can be found. You can do it in public without anyone noticing. It looks like you are just looking around and breathing. But inside you are guiding your nervous system back to calm. A lot of people confuse regulation with suppression. So let's separate them clearly. Suppression says, I am not allowed to feel. Regulation says, I can feel and I will respond with skill. Suppression creates buildup. Regulation creates flow. Think of suppression like holding your breath underwater. You can do it for a while. Then you explode to the surface. Regulation is like learning to swim with the waves. The waves still exist. But, you stop drowning? Regulation is timing and dose. You do not dump everything on people in one moment. But you also do not swallow everything forever. If you struggle with this, try a feeling container. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Let yourself feel the emotion in the body. Breathing long. Warmth if you can. Then when the timer ends, do a closing cue. Wash hands. Drink water. Look around. Closing cues teach the nervous system endings. When your body trusts endings, it stops fearing emotions. And when it stops fearing emotions, logic returns faster. If you have been suppressing feelings for years, regulation can feel like feeling more at first. That is normal. It is like turning the volume back on after a long mute. So go in small doses. This is called titration. Small safe doses teach your nervous system that feelings are not dangerous. Try a daily 5-minute check-in. What am I feeling? Where do I feel it in my body? What might I need? Then end with grounding. Look around. Name objects. Feel your feet. Do one small task. This builds trust. Your body learns, I can feel, and I can return. Return is the key. Because the fear is usually, I will not return. When your nervous system trusts return, it allows more honesty. And honesty is what makes relationships and self-respect stronger. If you want a journal prompt that builds regulation, try this. What happened? What did I feel? What did I need? What did I do? What would I try next time? Keep it short. 2 lines each. This turns regret into learning. Learning is calming. Because learning creates options. Options create safety. And safety is what logic needs most. Another way to think of it is this. Suppression is a lid. Regulation is a container. A lid pushes down and hopes the pressure disappears. A container holds the pressure safely until it can release. So you can build containers on purpose. A 5-minute feel session. A walk while you breathe. A voice note to yourself. A conversation with a trusted friend where you share one feeling and one need. Notice, one feeling, one need. Not a flood. A dose. Doses are how the nervous system learns safety. Why do small things break you sometimes? Because capacity changes. If you are hungry, tired, lonely, overstimulated, or stressed, your window shrinks. So emotions get loud faster. And logic fails faster. This is why emotional intelligence includes basic care. Sleep. Food. Water. Movement. Sunlight. Breaks. Less constant notifications. Use the HALT check. Hungry. Angry. Lonely. Wall. Tired. If one is true, do not debate yourself. Care for the battery. then talk, then decide. Also watch your stimulation load. Too many tabs. Too much content. Too much noise. Too many late night. Your nervous system cannot digest it all. A tired brain wants quick relief. Quick relief decisions are often regret decisions. So regulation includes protecting your future self from your exhausted self. That is compassion with strategy. Not blaming yourself, building a better setup. Capacity is also social. If you are around dysregulated people all day, your nervous system stays on alert. So part of logic is environment choice. Ask, who makes my body tighten? Who makes my body soften? You do not have to judge anyone. You just notice. Then you add boundaries where needed. You reduce exposure where possible. You increase recovery time after hard interactions. Regulation matters too. A calm person can help your nervous system settle low. A harsh person can make it spike. So if you are trying to have a hard talk, choose a good time. Not when you are starving. Not at midnight. Not after a stressful day. Choose a time when your body has capacity. That is not being picky. That is being smart. Because logic depends on capacity. Also remember that your body has seasons. Some days you have more capacity. Some days less. Stress, sleep, food, sickness, hormones, all can change your baseline. So if you react more strongly on one day, do not make it mean you are failing. It might mean your battery is low. Treat low battery days like you treat low battery phones. You charge more. You do fewer heavy tasks. You postpone intense conversations when you can. Also notice how substances and stimulants affect state. Too much caffeine can make the body feel like danger. Alcohol can lower inhibition and make reactions sharper. Lack of food can make you irritable and impulsive. So if you want more logic, watch what pushes your body toward activation. Then make small adjustments. 1 extra glass of water. 1 real meal. 1 earlier bedtime. 1 less late night scroll. These are not lifestyle tips for perfection. They are tools for nervous system stability. If you want to make this real, you need practice, not just insight. So here is a simple 7-day training planning plan. Day 1. Notice your sparks. What is the first sign you are activated? Jaw tight. Fast typing. Rushed voice. Tight chest. Day 2. Practice 1 breath tool. Long exhale 5 times twice a day. Day 3. Practice orienting. Look around slowly. Name 5 objects, feel your feet. Day 4. Practice delay. Right now. Send later. At least once. Day 5. Practice the relationship pause script. I need a pause. I will return, then actually return. Day 6. Practice 1 clean boundary. 1 sentence, calm tone. Day 7. Review. What helped most? What triggered most? What will I repeat next week? This is how you build a new default. Not by forcing calm in emergencies. By training calm in small moments. Repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity builds safety. Safety keeps logic online. If this feels like a lot, remember, you do not need 10 tools. You need 1 tool you actually use. Pick one. Long exhale. Or orienting. Or the pause script. Or right now, send later. Then use it daily for a week. The nervous system learns from repetition more than intensity. And track one thing. Recovery time. How long do I stay activated before I return? How long do I stay shut down before I come back online? If it used to be all day and now it is 2 hours, that is growth. If it used to be 2 hours and now it is 20 minutes, that is growth though. The goal is not never being emotional. The goal is becoming someone who returns. Return is strength. Return is regulation. Return is the bridge back to logic. After the 7-day plan, keep it simple. Pick 1 skill for 1 week. Then switch. Week 1. Long exhale practice. Week 2. Orienting practice. Week 3. Pause and return practice. Week 4. Clean boundary practice. This is how you build a nervous system that can handle life. Not by reading one idea once said, by turning it into muscle memory. If you want the plan to stick, add an if-then rule. If I notice tight jaw, then I exhale long once. If I notice fast typing, then I put the phone down for 2 minutes. If I notice raised voice, then I lower my volume and use fewer words. If I notice I am repeating myself, then I ask for a pause and return. If-then rules turn insight into action. Action becomes habit. Habit becomes baseline. And baseline is what decides whether logic shows up automatically. To sum up, logic fails when emotions are strong, because your brain shifts into protection mode. The alarm gets louder. The planning system gets quieter. Working memory shrinks. Perception becomes threat-focused. Urgency rises. And logic becomes a lawyer defending safety, instead of a scientist searching for truth. So the solution is not to argue harder. The solution is to change state first. Use the long exhale. Relax the jaw. Open the hands. Orient to the room. Delay decisions in peak emotion. Pause and return in relationship. Use one fact, one feeling, one request. Choose clean boundaries instead of punishment. Care for capacity with sleep, food, water, and break. Most important, stop confusing control with strength. Strength is being able to feel and still choose. Next time a wave rises, remember. First state, then story. First breath, then words. First safety, then logic. Your logic is still there. It is waiting for room. Give it room and it will come back. Take a breath with me before you go. Inhale gently. Exhale longer. Let your shoulders drop. You just practiced the skill that makes logic possible. Creating space. And next time your brain feels like a battlefield, remember. You do not have to win. You have to regulate. Then you can understand. Then you can choose. That is the path from regret to stability. One pause at a time. If you want one sentence to carry with you today, carry this. My feelings are real, and my story might be biased when I am activated. That sentence protects your relationship. It protects your self-respect. It protects your future choices. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to return. Again and again. And every return is proof. Logic is not gone. It is just waiting for safety. If you are listening and thinking, I have tried tools and I still get overwhelmed. That is okay. Strong patterns take repetition. The brain learns slowly because it is trying to protect you. So measure progress in tiny ways. One fewer regret message. One quicker return. One calmer boundary. One repair you made instead of disappearing. Those are wins. And if you want, save this episode and return to it before your next hard conversation. Listen when you are calm, so your nervous system can memorize the pathway. Then when emotion rises, the pathway is easier to follow. You are not here to defeat emotions. You are here to lead them now.